No.
Okay, let's a quick review. Let's go to page 204 for a quick review. Okay, we have our books. Page 204. We have a suffix again. You don't know who his father, who's his father, the one who died, or the Yavam is his father. And already they had divided up the estate between the suffix and the Yavam had divided up the estate already. We said that was the first case, Chalkin. You don't know who he claims is his father, he claims is his son, so Chalkin. So we start off that the suffix and the Yavam, they had divided up the estate of the Nisna, the one who died. Now what happens? The Yavam dies, and now they're going to collect the nechasim of the Yavam. So the suffix says, "That's my father. I'm entitled to a piece of the action." They say, "Prove it." So he goes, "If I'm not your father, then I am the son of your father's brother. I'm the son of your uncle, and give me back the half that you in the first place." So the question is, do you redo it? So Rav Abba said, you don't redo it, and Rav Yemi says you do redo it. Okay, they said you do redo it. Okay, that was the case. That's under discussion. So now the Gemara wants to suggest that case, whether you keep the din or you redo the din, is the machlokas between Admon and the Rabbanon regarding. We saw yesterday. We'll see it again regarding a man who had a field surrounded on four sides, went away, and once he was able to get to the field, now he comes back and he can't get to the field. Okay, so that's what's under discussion over here. So let's see what the two sheets are. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 lines up. Let us say, beflukted the Admon of Rabbanon Krifki. This machlokes between Rav Amarav and Rav Yirmiyah is the machlokes of Tanoim. That nan Mishalach Medina Siyam, person goes over the seas. Ba'avdalei derech sadehu Admon Amar Yelech B'Ktsari. He goes to the shortest possible route, but he does get a passageway. And the Chacham say Yikach Lei Derech. We're up to Amid Zion Amid Base. Derech can charge him a large amount of money. Or Yifrach Babi, if he so chooses, he can fly over into his field. Admon had a good taina. Once upon a time, he was able to get to the field just because he lost it. Why can't he get to his field now? The field was not surrounded by one person, it was surrounded by 4 different people. So when he goes to one person, field A, he says, you go to field B. Field B says, you go to field C. C goes to D, they give him, my father, all of a sudden called the futch. We give him the futch. Like, goes around and around and around, right? So my time of the admon. If the case is speaking with 4 separate individuals, what's the reason Amon says you get a field? V'marava, let's qualify the machlokes. But arba dasmi koyach arba, 4 people who bought it from 4 people. The arba dasmi koyach, 4 people who bought it from 1 person. Kulyam le pligi dematzi matchule. Admon would mean over there that what you'd have to buy from somebody. He would admit over that case, since each one go ahead and push it off to the other individual, then you won't get. That's not what it's speaking about. Keep pligi. When's the machlokes? Bechad. They're owned by 1 person. The other mikoyach arba. This 1 person, he had purchased it from 4 different people. Good? Mm-hmm. So now, Admon says, Savar, Matzi Amalei Mikol Makam Darki Gabachu. I don't care whoever you bought it from. The bottom line is you are the owners of the field. My derech that I had before I went overseas, return to me. It's by you. That's what Admon says. For Rabban and Sarvi, the Amalei, the Rabban said the following taina. Ishaskis, shaskis. If you're quiet, quiet. You know what? If you're quiet, you're quiet. I'll go ahead, I'll return in other words, I'll sell it to you. If not, I'll return the shtar I bought it from 4 different people, right? I'll return the shtar to 4 different people, and guess what? You'll be stuck because each one then is going to go in and push you around. So it's a koyach hataina that he has, the Rabbanan says that he can force him to go ahead and pay for it. So Admin says, bottom line is the field was by you. The Chacham say the bottom line is, no, I have a koyach hataina to make you force you to pay. Good, says the Gemara. Lema Rav Abba the Amakirabanon. Rav Abba who said that you keep the din like the Rabbanon. Rav Yirmiyah who says that Hadar din ki Admon. He would hold like Admon. 1 second. The Admon said, what do you mean? Yeah, he would hold like Admon. Amalach Rav Abba anodam yafil Admon. I who hold over here that kum dina, that meaning that the din stays. The original chalukah was chalukah, and you just get an extra portion. Could agree with Admon over there that you get a way to go in. Why? Because there's one person. Whatever the Torah is, the bottom line is, I had a way to get to my field, and you're the sole owner, so that's where it is. So I could agree with you over there. However, over here, there's no svara to say that, and therefore I say come din over here. I who say over there Hadradina could agree with the Rabbanan that over here you could say Yishaska, and you could force the guy to pay. I can't like come Rabbanan Haslam El Mishan Damalei Yishaska. If you're quiet, buy away, and if go ahead ride it and mess you up by selling it back to the original owners, and then you'll be stuck. Over here, over here, there's no koyach to say that, and therefore you're not locked into saying that Admon holds like Rav Abba holds like Admon, and that Rav Abba holds like the Rabbanon, and Rav Yomi holds like Admon. Now, another case. Let's get another case. Okay, let's get our books. It's always good.
What about the argument of the key that everybody else who said when you buy land, you buy
Ayin Yafa. What does that have to do with this? No one is disagreeing that he once upon a time had a thing over here. They're saying it's in the other person's property. That's talking about a sale. When a person sells, they sell by Ayin Yafa. But again, they're saying each guy says your field is over there. It's a koyach hatayna, Mendy. You say I'm guilty, right? He's guilty. He's guilty. You just there's a thing over here, but you don't pay from me. Okay. Now you have a suffix shaboy l'chachim say saba. You have the case of a suffix and the yavam. They want to divide in the field of grandfather. So let's look at the possibilities. If the suffix is the son, if the son is the suffix of the one who dies, then he would have a piece of the action because he would inherit, right? And if he's the son of the other one of the yavam, no, then he doesn't because his father's still alive. Correct? He would only inherit his father. So in this case, we say the suffix gets nothing because ain't suffix might see midei vadai. Guys, the yavam vadai inherits the father. The question is whether the suffix would get through the dead person. If he's not the son of a dead person, we don't know. So clearly, you can see from the picture that ain't suffix might see midei vadai. That's one case. Let's do the next one while we're here already. Not the following the bias on that one. Page 207. Suffix ubnei yavam shboi lachlok v'nichsei saba. Now it's the same case, but instead of the yavam, it is the yavam's children. Good. So now the suffix says, I am the son of what? Right? And I'm entitled to half. In other words, the coming to divide nichsei saba. So they both died. So he says, I am what? What? Excuse me?
The son of the first one.
I'm the son of the first one, so therefore I get half. And they say, no, you're our brother. So right? Okay. So now, we'll go through. Let's go through this. So now, their maida to him, he's maida to them that he's the brother, right? He's maida to them that he's a brother, correct? Mm-hmm. He's maida to them as a brother, so therefore what? They would take 3. There's 6 altogether, guys. You're starting off with 6. He's being maida that he's a brother. So therefore, he's entitled to 3. Good. Now, the other 3, they're maida that you're a brother, right? Right.
He's entitled to 2, no?
What?
He's a full brother. He's entitled to 2. 6 divided by 3.
No. Initially, they're saying he's maida to them that what? He comes and says the following. He says, no, one second. Let's go over it. Okay, let's start. We'll get to this case in a second. Okay, I thought I'd save time. I'm not saving time. Says the Gemara. Suffix v'yavam shbalach lebnei saba. The suffix and the yavam is coming to divide for the grandfather. Now the son, this yavam clearly has a right. The suffix will only have a right if he's the son of the dead brother. But if he's the yavam's son, then he gets nothing. Suffix ama high gavram, meaning himself, bar mislahu, my father's the dead one. Upal gedidihu, half is mine. Yavam ama at brei didi, you're my son. At veleslecha velemidi, you have nothing. Have Yavam Vadai. The Yavam is a Vadai inheritance to the grandfather. The suffix might be Vadai. Suffix b'nei Yavam shabai lachlik b'nei say Saba. Suffix Amar Hahu Gavra Ba Misnahu. He timed is the following: I am the son, and therefore I'm entitled. I'm entitled to half. Ubnei Yavam Amri Achoyna At. You're our brother. Umansa Islacha Bahadon, and you have a portion by us. Okay. So now Palga the Kamoida Luhu, right? Shakli. The half that they made to him, he takes. So he takes 2. That leaves us with 4, right? Good. Tilsa the kamoida lay, and 3 that the moida lay, 3 that the moida the what that he's
I have 5 kids in Korean and I'm partially blind, and I'm almost struggling to face up if you can help anybody. And to give you both and a slope. And the sport there, Mashiach should come and thank you very much. This mitzvah is Toda Rabba. Mitzvah. Toda Rabba. This mitzvah. Thank you very much. This mitzvah. Toda Rabba. Toda Rabba. This mitzvah. Very for Pesach. Thank you very much. This mitzvah is Toda Rabba. Thank you very much. I'm sorry that I bother. I just mama struggling with space.
okay. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. One more time. Okay. There's Hashem. You got his big schuss. Okay. So let's go one more time, guys. So he is they're coming to go ahead and divide up the estate of the grandfather. Take a look at page 207. Page 207. Excuse me. No, that's not. Yeah, 207. So the suffix, he claims what? That he's the child of the Mishnah and he's entitled to 3. He says, I'm entitled to 3. They say you're a brother. So they're entitled to 2. No, it's Machmas, his taina. He's out of the 6. I'm entitled to half. Good. Look at the guys.
Oh, you got the bundle. I see.
How you're an accountant.
I wasn't looking at that. I was looking at the.
Harold.
I'm looking at no money.
Okay. Anyway, so okay, you're starting up with 6 guys. Okay, so now he wants to claim. He says, I am, guys. He says the following: I'm the same as your father, right? I'm your uncle, right? I'm the same as your father, and therefore I'm entitled to. Out of the 6, I'm entitled to 3. They say you're a brother, so they're masking to what? That is entitled to 2. They're masking. There's 6 altogether. There's 3 brothers. They're entitled to 2. Good. So therefore he gets 2 right away, and now you have what? 4 all, right? So now 3. They get. Why? 2 and 2, right? Each one you have 4 altogether left over. They take 2, and now you have how much? You have 1 left over. You have 3. Tilsa the kamoida le shakel. So a third that the moida he takes. Pashlahu danka, right? In other words, he's moida that is a brother, right? At least that they're brothers. Good. So they get 2. So he gets what? He gets 2. They get what? Well, I might get my messing up over here. Palga, I had this erase. Let's knock him. Palga the kamoida lahu. Half that he's moida to them, shakli, right? So that he's moida to them, they take. So they're taking half. They're taking 3. Guys, he's saying, look, guys, listen. He's saying, I am what? Your father's brother. So I'm moida that you get out of the 6, you get 3. Good? Got it? They're getting 3. They say you're a brother. So he gets 2. So all you have left to divide what is 1. Therefore, that 1 is a 6th because it's one of the remaining 6 that you divide up. So you're getting one's getting 3.5, the other one's getting 2.5. Does that make any sense? Okay, so that's and there you see the guy has 2.5. How you see the half is okay. One more time, guys. One more time. His claim is the following: I'm your dead father's brother. There's 6 altogether. I'm your dead father's brother. Good. So he's moida that they have 3 because your father inherits 3 and your father's dead, so you're getting 3. They say you're a brother. Out of the 6, if you're a brother, 3 brothers, you're going to get 2. All we have left to divide is 1. You take the 1, you divide it in half. He's going to get 2.5, and they're going to get
3.5.
Got it. Got it. Good. Final case. Sava v'yava b'nichsei suffix. Final 2 cases, right? Now, who gets in the suffix? That's Maman Amuta b'suffix is Cholkin, right? You're going to go ahead and the grandfather and the Yavam, right? So they're going to, we don't know who. If it's what? If he's the son of the dead son, then the grandfather inherits him. Guys, in 179, bottom line, if the suffix is the child of the dead person, then the Saba inherited him. If he's the son of the Yavam, so therefore you get half. They're dividing half and half, guys. That's Cholkin. Finally, the next page. Saba b'suffix b'nichsei Yavam. Now the suffix and the Saba in the Yavam, right? So if he's the child, if he's the son of the Yavam, he would get the whole thing. If he's the son of the other guy, right, he'd get half. So what does he get? He gets what? Cholkin. If he was son of the other guy, he would get nothing, right? He would get nothing over there. He'd get nothing. Okay. Says the Gemara. Okay, let's see it inside. Saba v'yav, right before the Mishnah, 2 lines up. Saba v'yavam b'nichsei suffix, or Saba v'suffix b'nichsei yavam, havimam with the b'suffix v'cholkin. They will go ahead and they would divide up. Okay, very good. Okay, the next Mishnah, the main source is the Gemara in Ksubis, guys. The reason we're bringing this in is, of course, it has one din about Shmeres Yavam. To understand this, we have to understand exactly what does a woman bring to the table in a marriage? What does a man mechuyev, and that'll have to be. We have to know 3 things. When we get married, you wrote a ksuba, and you wrote that 200 zuz, right? If it's a psula, if it's an almana, 100 zuz, you wrote a ksuba. That is called ksuba. That's called kesef ksuba. Now, if there's 2 types of properties that a woman brings into a marriage, so this is a kind of prenup according to Jewish style. This is a Jewish style prenup. She can bring a property in, and the husband says, I want to use the property. And she says, great, you can use the property on one condition. Whatever you do at the end of the day, if for whatever reason you get divorced or I'm a widow, I want to get exactly what it's worth now. Exactly. If it's worth 100 grand now, I want 100 grand back. So that's called nichsei tsoin barzel. It's called tsoin barzel. It's strong, meaning it's a guaranteed. It's written in the ksuba. Another lashon that's called is called nedunya. We touch nedunya dowry, but it's not our dowry, right? It's her dowry, right? It's nedunya. So it's her nechasim. It's her property. She's bringing it in, right? She's bringing it in, and she has a guarantee at the end of the day, whatever happens to it, she's going to get. Whether it goes up in price or down in price, she's going to get the amount. It's slain barzel. It's set in stone. That's written in the ksuba. So those 2 things are written in the ksuba. 1, it's written in that's basically the husband owns it and guarantees the repayment. And 2, the ksuba. What happens if she dies? Those 2 things would go to her husband's yarshim. If she dies, it doesn't revert to her family. It goes to her husband's yarshim. He has a kinyan in it now that when if she dies, predeceases him, it goes to his side of the family. There's another property, and that's the main thrust of this Mishnah, is called, she brings in a property, and she never gives up the rights to the property. He just has usage. Now, he can run it into the ground. There's no guarantee, but she never gave up the kinyan of the property, and he uses it. When she goes into marriage, it goes in with her. When she leaves the marriage, it goes out with her. It doesn't go to his family. It stays by her family. That's called nichsei miloik. That's called nichsei miloik. So the 3 things that are under discussion are the ksuba itself, nichsei tsoin barzel, which are kind of bound together, and nichsei miloik. Good? Now, let's see the Mishnah with that introduction. Shaimeres Yavam, Shenaflula Nechasim, a Shaimeres Yavam, that it fell to her Nechasim. In other words, guys, Pashtus, her husband died. She's waiting for Yibum, and she got a windfall, right? It fell from her father, right? And it fell for her when she was a Shemeres Yavam. Good. It fell from when she was Shemeres Yavam. Beishamai ubeis Hillel, Moed Beishamai beis Hillel, Shemoicheres, V'noisenes, V'kayim, that she can sell it, she can give it away as a present, V'kayim. In other words, whatever the Zika does between what? Her and her husband, or her brother-in-law, who will be her husband, he doesn't have a rights in it. This field, he doesn't have a right in. Good? Got it? Very important. Yes? Good. Next. Mesa, if she dies, that same field. What do you do with the ksuba and the tzoyin barzel that are written in the ksuba and the nechasim that go in and out with her, which is what? Which is the nichsei miloig. Good hakdama. You got the words now. Good. Beishamai says it's mashma. Now we're going to see it's not going back on the whole thing. It's only going back on nichsei miloig. And then the Gemara is going to ask an obvious question: what does her death have to do? Why should she lose it? If she was able to sell it when she was alive, why? Because she dies. It's because it doesn't belong to the husband. Why, when she dies, does all of a sudden it belongs to the husband that have the muchsik in it at all to be echloiku? So again, guys, the three things. But I'm giving you a little heads up. The under discussion is the nichsei miloig. Says Beis Shammai, the nichsei miloig is divided. The nichsei miloig is divided. Yechloku yarshei abal and yarshei av. The yarshei abal meaning her brother, her brother-in-law. Yarshei av means her father. Right? The nechasim will remain in their right locale, which is what? Kesuba b'cheskas yarshei habal. The ksuba and the sign barzel that's written in the ksuba will remain by the husband. Nechasim and nechnasim v'yotz mima the nichsei miloig b'cheska yarshei av. That will remain by what? By her family.
It's the same thing she's alive.
It's the same thing she's alive. Kansa, once he marries her, and therefore the field will have whatever the subject, whatever they decide upon, write it into ksuba, not provided the ksuba is on the property of the first husband. We'll discuss this later. Okay, so right now we have machlokus. It seems machlokus Beis Shammai Beis Hillel is regarding the nichsei miloig when she dies. Does it go yechloku or does it revert to who? To okay, good. So now we have a problem, an obvious question, guys. Look at me, because the whole sugya is predicated upon this question. If she's a shemeres yavam, she's falling to a brother-in-law because her husband died. Now her father dies and the chasam fall to her, and now we says she could do whatever she wants with it, meaning her husband is out of the picture, or her future husband's out of the picture, or the rights of the future husband's out of the picture. Consequently, if she would die, what should it then be? Nothing should change. This field would revert back to her family. Says Beis Shammai, yechloku. Why? Why does her death go ahead and impact upon the status of the property? Just like she could sell it when she was alive, obviously it doesn't belong to her yavam. Certainly, even after Misa, it should belong to the yavam. It should revert to who? Her yarshim. Got it? Got it. That's the kasha. Maishna Resha delay pligi. Why in the Resha when she's alive does Beis Shammai not argue and agree with Beis Hillel that she can sell it and give it away, whatever? Umaishna Seifa when she dies, that he says yechloku the pligi that he argues. It says yechloku. Gamal kasha. Ama ula Resha de nafla kashi arusa. The Seifa de nafla kashi nesua. Okay, now we know there's different states to kedushin, different status to kedushin. There's the state of erisin when you're mekadesh and isha, and then there's the state of nesuim when you got married. So let's say she was an arusa and her husband died. Let's say she's an arusa and her husband died. So we saw the other day that the arus has no rights in her nechasim until when? Until they're married. He has no rights. So if what the husband died when she was Arusa, does she fall to Yibum? Yes, she does. But the Yavam can't have more rights in the property than the dead brother. And the dead brother had no rights of the Paris at this time, of the Nichsei Miloi. Mimela, that's why Beis Shammai is Maida, that what? You can do whatever you want with it. Good. Before. If he dies, you can do whatever you want with it. Now, the case after she died was speaking already when the husband had rights in it. He was in the sewer, right? Ukasava Ula. So now, if she had rights in the sewer, so why can't the husband take the whole thing? Right? Why can't he take the whole thing? Says Rashi. Kishin is sewer, Hilkach. Reisha de Lagabe Arusa Mamish, Kaimelon Beis Shammai Timchar. She can sell it, Kidit Nan Lekamon. Kol Shkein Zu, She'ena Elisakuka Ba'alma. If the husband can't get it, so certainly what? The dead brother can't be stronger than the husband. Ubes Hillel, the Amri Be'arusa, Vade Le Simcha, and Beis Hillel says, Vade, you can't sell it. Lechatchila, Aval Machra V'nas Lekayim, Hacham Mishum, the Safek Arusahi, okay, we're going to see machlokas later on that Beis Hillel says that she can't sell it lechatchila as an arusa, but over here, since the kuka is less than a real arusa, you will be able to sell it lechatchila. Okay, so now, but that's when she's arusa. But now she's in a sewer. So Ula sells zikas arusa oisa safik arusa on the base. Zikas nesua oisa safik nesua. Says Rashi Seifa the gabe nesua ba'alma aminu lekaman. When she's fully fledged married, Divrei HaKol, everyone agrees. Machra v'nasna afilu b'di'eved habal moitzim miyad lekuchas. If she would sell it, the Baal could take it away. Guys, if she's in a suah and she sells a nichsei miloig that the husband has rights of Paris to, he can go ahead and void the deal and take it away. So therefore, over here, hachal gabe zikas nesua, where you have the zika of the dead brother to the live brother, the suffix, it's a suffix, like in a suah mamish. Kaima nichsei besafik and the hilkach. Therefore, the Beis Shammai chaluka adifa. The Beis Hillel chazak adifa. Okay, it's outside. Let's go outside. We have to look at what would the din be without anyone dying. A regular case. So a woman gets engaged to a guy. Engagement means she's married to kedushin. She has a field. He has no rights in this field at all yet. Therefore, what? If she sells it, she sells it. We'll see about Beis Hillel. Basically, everyone holds the sale is a good sale, right? If once he dies, and she's falling to the brother can't have better rights than the husband. If the husband could go ahead and void a deal, so certainly the zakat even can't void a deal. That's case number one. Now, what happens if she was nichnas l'chuppah, and now she's married, and the husband has the rights of the Paris? If she would sell the field, the husband can void the deal. Good. What happens if the husband dies? Now there's this field, the brother is inheriting. Does he inherit the whole rights of the brother to be able to avoid a deal? Or no? Does it say that since it's only zakuk, it's only a suffix nesua, because zika can only make a suffix nesua, then we're not sure to the extent. Says Beis Shammai, since we're not sure, yechloku. That's the chiluk between the Arusa and the Su. Okay, so now we have an explanation to explain the Shitas Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. Let's just see the Lashon one more time, guys. Let's do the Lashon one more time. Ama Ula says Ula, right? Reisha the nafla kashi Arusa, the sefer nafla kashi Nesua, right? Ukasab Ula zikas Arusa oisa safik Arusa, and therefore what? She can't be better than the husband. The dead husband, and he had no rights. Zikas nesua oisa safik nesua, and therefore, albeit the full-fledged nesua did have a right, the zika doesn't, and therefore, what his right is compromised according to Beis Shammai, and therefore what? And therefore, you go after yachloku, whereas Beis Hillel would say no. You put it on this chazaka of being by the woman, and therefore what? It would stay by her. It would stay by her. Good. Now, these sakadaitach vade arusa, right? If you can say vade arusa. Would Beis Hillel say that you could go ahead and sell it? But Hanan, guys, what if Beis Hillel was moida in case number one? She could sell it. If it wasn't an arusa, why would it be maida? In other words, if Suffolk arusa made a zikas arusa was a full-fledged arusa, you won't be able to sell it. Where do you know that from? Naftal the chasim mishnis arsa. When she's married, but not the stage of erison, if property comes into her possession, Beishami is of the opinion timcha you could sell it. So therefore, it makes sense in our Mishnah you could sell it. Timcha, right? You can't sell it. Good. So therefore, he says you can't sell it. Why be able to sell in the Mishnah? If she's a full-fledged nesua, then not. Good. Full-fledged arusa, then not. So it must be a seikfa. And elu be'elamoidim shemachrav naslakayim. Shmami no zikas arusa isa safek arusa zikas nesua isa safek nesua. Disak taitach vaday nesua beishami rem yechloiku yarshi abal and yarshi av vatanan. Because why would Beishamai say that the yarshi abal inherit with the yarshi av if you vaday nesua? If you vaday nesua, you can't be able to sell it. Vatanan. Naflu and chasim nisas. If the chasim fall to when she gets married, elu be'elamoidim even Beishamai's maida shemachrav nasl shabal meitzim yadol kuchas. Because in the Sua, his Kinyan Paris stops the sale. Al Shmamina, Zikas the Sua Isa, keyword, suffix Nesua. It makes a suffix Nesua. Okay, so now we have Pshat in the Mishnah. I will recap it, okay? Let's go through it again. We're dealing with Nichsei Miloik. He has the Kinyan Paris, she has the Kinyan Aguf. She writes to the land, he has rights to use it. If he abuses it, he abuses it. It's not in the ksuba. It's in her family. It's in her family. The chazaka is, it is by her. The chazaka is, it is by her. Good? That's the chazaka. She's muksuk in it. Now, if arusa, machloikis beishami resila, but you can sell it. Beisila's moida b'diavad. If you sell it, then it's okay. Good? That's by a full-fledged arus. What about a zikas arusa? Well, that's a suffix arusa. It's suffix arusa. Even there, you could sell it. So therefore, the din in our Mishnah is, says Ula, if something falls to her, once she's a shemeres yavam from the state of erison, she can do whatever she wants with it. What about the sefer when she dies? That one says yechloku and one says you keep it in it's chazaka. Okay, that's speaking where she was fully married, and the husband already had rights in the Paris, and therefore, if he would have sold it. If she would have sold it, he could stop the sale because his rights to the Paris impede her ability to sell. That's only by a vaday nesua. But over here, since it only creates a suffix nesua, Beishamai says suffix nesua yechloku. Says Beis Hillel. No, I think chazaka in the suffix over here, the chazaka wins out. So the different properties, the kasuba and the tzayin barzel would remain by the husband, and the nichsei milayd would stay by her family. That's the din in the Mishnah. Now, if you want to tell me this din of suffix nesua of erison, it's a very good kasha. Why did you have to tell it to me when she died? Freg the Gemara, a great kasha. Freg Rabba, Seg Rabban Ula. Amle Rabba, ad the miflagi bigufa ula achamisa. When you're arguing in the goof of the karka and after death, right? Whether Beishamai says yechloku or not, liflagu b'chayeho ula peris. She's Yorish property while still a shemeres yavam. She and the yavam split the Paris. Fellas, again, the way Ul is explaining it had nothing to do with her death. It had to do with how you view what? How do you view the property? Do you view that he has a right or doesn't he have a right? So if you view that what? That the shemeres yavam, that the yavam has a right to the property because it's a suffix, right? It's a suffix to the status. So here's your suffix by Shammai. She is alive. The property falls to her. Good. The property falls to her, right? And you want to know what the relationship with the oris is. It's a suffix. So divide the Paris. Let's not again when we're speaking about dying, we're speaking about the etzem karka itself. Forget the etzem karka. I can hear the same halacha of suffix arusa even without the property, just discussing the Paris. Guys, watch. She's a shemeres yavam, and from erison. So her husband had no rights to it. According to Beis Shammai, he dies. The husband. Now she falls to yibum, and a property falls to her. Good. If you're going to tell me that it's a suffix, what the status of the oris is, And granted, he has no right to the gufa karka, but the Paris, also suffix, he should divide the Paris. So if Ula's interpretation of to tell me the chiddush of only a suffix, I could have heard without stelzing a case of a death. Her death is not my little moirid. It's the fact, how do you view a yavam? Do you view a yavam as a vadai, or do you view him as a suffix? If I view him as a suffix, then it's yechloku. If I view him as a vadai, then he gets the whole thing. Good? So now, what does that have to do with the death? Don't tell me a case of a dying. Tell me a case of Paris. I just gave you the case. I gave you the case of Paris. So that's Rabbi's question on Ula. And because of that question, Rabbi will come up with a different teretz to ask Akasha, what's the difference in the ratio where they all agree and and the sefer where she dies, yechloku. It must have something to do with her dying. Guys, you hear? The Ula's teretz says nothing to do with her dying. It has to do how do you view the yavam, suffix or not? Good. But now we have to come up with a teretz to go ahead and deal with the fact that the Mishnah said dying. And when the Mishnah said dying, it's because she died that it influenced the halacha. So therefore, because this kasha, Ella Amar Rabba, Lashon Karata, Idi v'Idi the Nafla Kashin Nesua. Both cases fell when she was in a sewer. Both cases. She was married, fully married. And therefore, guys, if fully married, then what? Guys, if fully married, then the husband gets the Paris. Fully married, the husband gets the Paris. Now, the Zikas Nesua oisa suffix Nesua. And the Zika of the husband dies, and the Zika of Nesua makes a suffix Nesua. Reisha, the Ihi Kaima, Reisha, when she's alive, Havila Ihi Vadai, the Inu suffix. The Ain suffix might see the Vadai. Seifa, the Mesa, Halalu Boin Liyirish, Valalu Boin Liyirish, the Yech Laiku. You got a pshat, guys. You got a pshat. When she's alive, who is the muksik in the land? She is. She is. They're coming. She's dead. If she dies, he's coming with Kechatayim saying, "I inherit you." Your right to inherit me is only mitar suffix. Vadai, her family has the vadai. Why do we have a rule? And suffix might seem they vadai. Good. Masha Enkain when what? Suffix nesuin, right? Masha Enkain when she's dead. When she's dead, then there's a sub. They're both they're in the field. They both come in a taina. He says, since I'm in the sewer, I had rights in the field, and I inherit her. They say that it's only a suffix, and therefore, since it's only a suffix, we'll divide it. Okay. Look at Rashi. Seifa. Go down a little bit, guys. Seifa. Hoyelu mesa alalu boyim. V'toyinim mikoyach Yerusha. Vayavim toyim mikoyach Yerusha. Both are claiming a piece of Yerusha. Guys, one has the Kinyan Paris, and the Kinyan Gufin. Hilkach, Shneim Safik Lebeis Shammai. These Zikas Kiknusa ain't kan li Yarshay Av Klum. If Zik is a Knusa, then the husband's family have nothing. Excuse me, her family has nothing. Not the husband's family, her family. Shabal Yarish Shalah, because the Baal is a Yarish. The Ilav Kiknusa, but the Zik is Lav Kiknusa, ain't kan li Yavim Klum, he gets nothing. Fikach Safik, the Safik who be local. Good. That Ul Beis Hillel. Hoil the Ilu Kroivim Vadoyim Heim. The Hochschel Nachle Zu Kvar Becheskes Mispachton. Since these Kroivim were Vadai and they're muchzik that it belongs to them. I mean, an Ukes Acheskasa will keep her on Skazaka. Al Bechayaho Le Paris. I feel Beishami Moide in a Chosim Becheskayu by Shako Balmidi. It's in the Chazaka of the wife, and she doesn't get anything. So now we have a teretz, guys. Okay, that's the teretz outside. Again, Ula did not take into account his explanation of suffix did not go ahead and explain why we had to say it speaking when she died. Like this, there's a big difference. If she doesn't die, and the brother of the dead husband is making a claim, there's no claim. They're only a suffix. She's a vadai. They have an suffix with a vadai. Once she dies, however, says Beis Shammai, they both come mitoras Yerusha. It's a suffix in both, and therefore yechlaiku. That's the pshat according to Rabbi. Now, we're going to go off a little bit on this din of ein suffix mitzvah vadai. Okay. Esive abaya ule Shammai. You want a taina ein suffix mitzvah vadai in the Reisha, right, where she's still alive. the suffix of the yavam versus havadai, right? But Tanan, here you're dealing with a case, guys, where a person owes somebody money, and he's in the house with a father. If he predeceases the father, then what? Then they're about to collect from.
Mhm.
If the father predeceases him, then he inherited the father, and they're about to collect from. So that's the need over here. Nafal abayis alav v'al aviv, or alav al marishav. Some people don't not girls. People that he inherits, or people that he inherits. The same for the same thing. V'hayu alav ksubas isha ubal chayv. Yarshei av oimrim haben meis berishain v'yakach meis av. The yarshim of the av say, listen, the son died first, and therefore what? The father inherits everything, and you can't collect. Ubal chayv oimer, no. Ha'av meis rishain, and therefore the son inherited him. V'yakach meis haben, and therefore we can collect from him. Beishamei oimrim yachloku. Beishamei says we don't know to believe yachloku. We're going to keep in the chasim what? By the chazaka. We'll keep it what? By the father. Yarshei av vadai. The Yarshei av vadai, they inherit the father. Ubal chayv is a suffix. Because the suffix means they vadai. When Beishamai guy said, Beishamai said yachloku, meaning who vadai? Guys, look at me. Who vadai owns the property here? The father. He's dead. Did the son ever own the property? No. What's Beishamai saying? Yachloku. Good. If you ain't suffix, it might be devadai. The suffix that the father would have died and the son couldn't inherit can't be mitzvah devadai. The father being what? The muhsin. Good. And yet he says yachloku. Why? Because we're going to view as if what? The Baal Chov has a piece of the action here, guys. You know why? Because he has a shtar. What does a shtar do? It makes the property already meshubit to him. So therefore, it comes with it's suffix b'suffix. Says the Gemara. Yarshei avadai, that they own it. Baal Chayv suffix, whether again the only kind of the Baal Chayv has if the father died first, because he's suffix might seem vadai because he says yachloku. And if the Gemara Ksavei Shamai shtar ha'oimid ligvois is kigavui dami, a shtar that is standing to be collected, we'll view as collected. So we'll view as if what? As the money was in the hands of the Baal Chov. So it already was muhsik. So now it's suffix b'suffix. Doesn't make a difference. It's like it's a lien on the property. So therefore what? There's muhsik. So it's a suffix and a suffix. That's the teretz. Uminot teimra. How do you know we say that? Guys, how do we know we say shtar, also ligvois is kagavi dami? How do we view a shtar is already collected? It's none. So now we know that there's a din of Anisha Sota. If a guy warned his wife not to be behind closed doors with a certain man, and she stayed there long enough to be mizana, even though they didn't see the actressness, she's a sota, and she has to drink before she can live with her husband. She has to drink the meimarim. Good. Now, mesu ba'aleim ashasu. The husband dies before what she drinks. Does she collect a ksuba or not? Beishamei oimrim. Now tell us ksuba son. She collects a ksuba. Ve'ena shaisas. She doesn't drink. Beisil oimrim. Oy shaisais. Oy loyna this ksubasa. Oy shaisais. How could she drink? It says ve'hevia ishes ishtai. Right, Rachmana Veleka. In order to the protocol, you have to have the husband bringing her to drink. How could she drink without the husband bringing her? He's dead. Ella, what do you have to say? So Yamachlikis. Since she can't drink, she can't collect. Now over here, right? V'hahacha the suffix who? Suffix zanai, suffix la zanai. Because the suffix might seem they vadai. The suffix. Who's the machzik over here? Who's the machzik over here? Right, the husband. He's only onto the money, right? Now it's a suffix whether she has a tain or not. If she wasn't mizana, she collects it. If she wasn't mizana, she doesn't. So we're saying that what she collects. So here the suffix be might seem vadai. Elishmamina shtar oimed ligvois is kigavui dami. We must view it as what? As if she collected it already, right? We must view that as that she collected it already, correct? And therefore, even though she's not drinking, it's in her possession already, and therefore she gets a ksuba. So we've proven that what? Therefore, Shammai would hold in the case of the fathers and the brothers falling down, right? It's kagavri dummy, and therefore it's not in suffix mitzvah. It's suffix for suffix. Good. That's what it proved. Why didn't Abaye go ahead and ask from here, right? Why did he have to go from Nafal to Bias, guys? This is ain't. Guys, why do you have to the case of Nafal bias to make the Baal Chayv equal to the what? Why didn't he ask him Saita? Why didn't he ask him Subasisha? In other words, both cases prove that what? That Shtar Ha'isa Ligvais is Kagavi Dami. Both cases. So why did he opt to ask from the falling house with the father and the son, with the Baal Chayv? He could have proven it right from this case of Subasisha. And if the Gemara double Subasisha is shiny, you know why? We'll view it as collected already. Mishum Chayna. Listen, we want to go ahead and facilitate marriage. So what do? We make it the husband is attractive as possible. Why? Because he's going to go ahead and deal with the monetary. So therefore, maybe by Ksubasisha, it's a kula that she would get it. But it's not because shtar or ligvas is gavadami, not because the shtar that can be collected is already if you collected, but since the ksuba, you wanted to go ahead and want to get married in the first place, we say, even in a situation that you're able to collect. So therefore, we didn't bring the raya from ksuba. So where do we bring a raya from? The case of the falling house, which is what it doesn't have that svara whatsoever. Right? Wanted to learn from the ksuba of our Mishnah, right? So on ksuba on the Mishnah, it's mashma, guys. If you look back, it says yachloku in the Mishnah. Guys, look at the Mishnah. Look at our Mishnah. Shemer sheyavim shenafel and chasim moedim beisham beisil shemer chazon mesa ma yaseh b'ksubasu b'nechasim anachasim yotz mima beisham yachloku. Now the yachloku, the havamina, guys, it's going on ksuba. Guys, the havamina is going on ksuba, and it says yachloku. Why? She's dead. So we can bring a raya from the Mishnah that a shtar is a gavli dami, correct? So why don't you say from the Mishnah? You know what the answer is? The yachloku is only going on the nichsemi loig. It's not going back on ksuba. Remember, that's when I read the Mishnah. That's the way I touched it. There's three dinim over here. There's ksuba and the we'll call ksuba both the money and the tzayin barzel, and then there's nichsemi loig. So Fred the Gemara, you just said those two cases and you said yachloku. So why don't you bring a question from my Mishnah? Why yachloku if she's dead? It must be that shtar is a gavli dami. And what's the answer? It's not going on that. It's not going on ksuba. It's only going on what? On nichsei miloi. But ksuba enachnami, you're not going to collect. You're not going to see a chloku. The shami would be moida that it stays by what? The husband. It stays by the yorshe abal. So let's ask from our Mishnah. It says Malay Pligi. Beishami doesn't argue on ksuba. He agrees that what? It stays by the husband. V'loi, v'katani mesa, ma'yasa b'ksubasa u'menachasim and v'yotze ima. Right? Beishami oimrim yachloku yarshei abal yarshei av u'beishilo oimrim nechasim b'cheskasan. So you see over there it says that yachloku on the ksuba, and for the Gemara hachikama, here's the way you read it. Mesa, if she dies, ma'yasa b'ksubasa, what will you do with ksuba? And then v'shafka, it leaves the question unanswered. In other words, here's the way you read it, guys. Mesa mayasa b'ksubasa. Leave it, comma. Now, u'benechasim and nechasim yotze ima be'shamim yom yachlaku yarshei abal and yarshei av u'beishilo oimim nechasim b'ches kasan. So therefore, why he's moida? Amar Rashi masisin nami deika diktani yachloku yarshei habal im yarshei av. Who divides the yarshei abal and yarshei av? In other words, if it's speaking on the Tzayin Barzel, so the Yarshei Habal can be Yarsh with the Yarshei Aim, because they're Yarshei Habal with the Yarshei Av. Now, if it's going right on the Ksuba, it should be the Yarshei Av taken for the Yarshei Habal, because he's the one who's Muchzik. Shema Mina, you have a good night.